What if seeking is the veil and grasping keeps us blind? What if the tomb is also a womb and the wound was never meant to close but to be entered like a portal, a passage, not a flaw? What if healing comes when the desperate yearning for it subsides, when we stop clawing at the light and let the darkness be beautiful too? What if resistance is sacred, not an obstacle, but a rhythm, a tide pulling in, pulling out, teaching us to dance till we stop fighting the waves and remember that we are the ocean? What if the breaking open is the becoming and the unraveling is the remembering? What if transformation is inevitable, something that happens when we stop demanding it? What if surrender is not about giving up, but opening so wide that even the storm can pass through without making us flinch? What if shining our light means ceasing to war with our shadows, letting them stretch beside us, letting them breathe? What if we're not meant to be perfect, but whole, like the ocean, both tender and wild, like fire, both warm and destructive, both holy, both necessary? What if life and death are not opposites, but one idea seen through shifting lenses? What if love is our natural state, not because we banish hate, but because we let it sit beside us without shame, without fear? What if no one holds the map because there is no single path, only endless unfolding, only a sky too vast to divide, only a journey ours alone to walk? What if everything is okay and none of it is, and that's not a contradiction, but the deepest truth? What if there is no middle ground, because there is no ground at all, only vastness, only beingness? What if the anxious mind, obsessed with outcomes, was never meant to lead, but to listen, to kneel before the soul's quiet knowing? What if we were meant to relax, to let go of frantic reaching, to know we are already carried, that action will arise when it must, that fear, drive, and resistance all belong and are part of the great unwritten truth we're living? What if unrealistic is the realest way to be? What if we were never meant to shrink ourselves to fit inside a world afraid of its own vastness? What if I'd rather walk this path with empty pockets than grip the brittle promise of security that drains the fire from my veins and siphons the soul? What if I'd rather walk alone than with anything less than a love so profound it speaks the tongues of galaxies, burns through an illusion, turning everything to dust, light, and holiness? I didn't come here for a life lived as the walking dead. What if I'd rather burn or crumble into dust and rise again, into the truest form this world has ever seen, reminding weary hearts they were never meant to fade, that we were never meant to fear the unknown, but to dissolve into it and step into the great unfolding? And what if every breath is a prayer, every silence a revelation, and every moment, even this one, already whole?